Substitution.
Today, our learning intention is to understand that pronumerals can be replaced by numbers. We also want to understand how we can replace pronumerals with numbers and to be able to evaluate or solve an expression using order of operations once all the values of the pronumerals are known. You will know you are successful when you can substitute pronumerals with their values. Also, when you can do this with multiple different pronumerals and evaluate them. Lastly, you will know you're successful when you know that there's no difference between squares and square roots and you can solve them just as easily. So I know we've just finished the terminology of algebra, and that's a very big and kind of scary topic. But I want to reassure you that our next topic is actually something easy that you've been doing so many times before, and that is substitution. So let's think, what does the word substitution mean? If we think of some examples in real life, when we get a substitute teacher, that's a person who's replacing our teacher for the day. Or in sport, if we're on the field and we have to swap out with someone, that is a substitute. Or maybe someone's allergic to milk and they have to use a milk substitute in their cooking. So substitute means replace. And if we think about it in mathematics, it means the exact same thing. When we're doing substitution in algebra, it means we are replacing the letter, the pronumeral, with a number. Once we've done that, it's just like normal mathematics and we can just evaluate it. Now you need to know that the word evaluate is just a fancy mathematical word for solve or calculate. So when we've got an algebraic expression with pronumerals and then we get told what the pronumeral's value is, we can substitute it in and then evaluate or solve to figure out an answer. Now this is something that we've done many times before, and I have my area problem here to show you. We did all of these area questions, and every time we did that, we did substitution. We would write out the formula. And then we would be told the length is 70. And we would replace the L with 70. And then we're told the width is 20. And we would replace the W with 20. So that is substitution, replacing the letter with a number value. After that, we can evaluate it, which means to solve it. So I want to reassure you that what we're doing today, you have done many, many times before. Okay, we have 3 key ideas for this lesson. The first one is kind of what I've already said. To evaluate an expression or to solve it, we can substitute values in for the pronumerals. So let's do another example. Let's do 2m plus 3. Now in this situation, we don't know what m is, and we're not actually trying to find out what m is, but someone's going to give us an example of what m might be. So maybe m equals 5. Now this is like our length problem, because m could be many different things. We don't know what m represents, but when we're doing length, we find out the L by measuring the length. This time we find out m because someone tells us what m is. Now that I know that m equals 5, I'm just going to replace the m with a 5. Once I've done that, I can then solve it. And I would go 10 plus 3, and then that's 13. But key point number 2 is what you'll notice right here. When we are doing substitution, we need to remember our invisible math and not lose any of those multiplication signs. Because let's say in this example, I've got 4a. Now remember, a number and a letter sitting right next to each other means they're being multiplied together. Or a letter and a letter sitting right next to each other means they're getting multiplied together. But now let's say that a equals 2. When I replace or substitute a, I need to put that little multiplication back in, that hidden multiplication sign. Remember we said it was hidden. If I don't do that, it's going to end up, I might end up writing 42 because I'm just literally replacing the a with a 2. But that is not correct because obviously 4 times 2 equals 8, and 8 is a very different number than 42. So I need to make sure that I find all those little hidden multiplication marks when I am doing my problem. And I will tell you, this is one of the most common issues that students will get. My third tip, it's not even really a tip, it's just a reminder, is that once we've gotten rid of all the letters, we just follow normal order of operation. So BIMDAS, BODMAS still applies. So once we've gotten rid of all those letters, and now we've just got numbers, which we completely understand, we just solve it or evaluate it just like normal. Now, this is also one of those fun times when we actually get to figure out the actual answer. I said to you last time, and sometimes it can be a bit confusing, that when we're doing algebra, our answer could end up looking something like this. And that could be the answer to the problem, but we don't really see that as an answer. We see that as still a problem to be solved. That is the answer in some situations. But luckily for this topic, we're actually going to solve it right down to an answer.